All right, Woody, let's go right to him. Brian Geltzeiler, Sirius XM NBA Radio Insider. I know he has been busy this morning and entertained last night. Geltzy, good morning. And as you can imagine, all the New York, South Florida, New York Knicks fans, South Florida, I should say, all fired up this morning about the officiating. How bad was it last night for you, Geltzy?
Well, first of all, good morning, Joe. And yeah, I love this time of year. This is fantastic. The New York fans aren't going to love what I have to say about the officiating, because I think when you oversimplify things like free throw disparity, you completely and entirely dismiss style of play. And the Spurs were relentless and aggressive about going to the basket last night. And the Knicks, as happened to them at certain points in time in this series, certainly in the second quarter of game one, they went away from taking it to Victor Wembanyama, except for one guy, OG Anunoby, who had 28 points and only took 13 shots. And so the Knicks shied away from going to the rim. Listen, it was not a well-officiated game in this respect. It was the tale of two games. They let everything go in the first half, and they called everything in the second half. And San Antonio adjusted well to that in the second half, better than the Knicks did. It took the Knicks some time to adjust to that. But I know there was a lot of Knicks fans complaining about how physical Victor Wembanyama was. You watch some of the stuff Karl Towns did to Victor Wembanyama off the ball. They could have called a dozen fouls on Towns in this game. So I think some of that stuff, for me, falls on deaf ears, because I just don't look at that and feel like it was uneven in terms of an officiating standpoint. But yes, the style of play that the Knicks were playing and shying away from Wembanyama, I thought played a factor in the free throw disparity. And then I also thought that the Spurs just adjusted much better to the shift in officiating from the first half to the second half.
I'm glad you said that, because, doing these shows, and I get fan bases think that they get screwed in every sport we go through this, but we got to talk about the big shots hit at the end of the game by De'Aaron Fox. Castle hits not only a jumper, but hits two big free throws as the Knicks are about ready to go down by just one score again, with a chance either tie it or win it. I thought those were huge shots made at the end of that game that really, you got to give them credit, right? Money time, money shots.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. First of all, that Castle end of the shot clock three was backbreaking for the Knicks. They guard a fantastic possession, and then Castle hits a contested three from 2 steps behind the line at the end of the 24-second clock. And listen, Joe, give De'Aaron Fox credit. Dude's dragging a leg around there. He's been hurt for 4 or 5 weeks, playing every night with a high ankle sprain that should have cost him 3 to 4 weeks. And he's out there gutting it out. He retwisted it a little bit last night. He walked it off, and then he ends up hitting that big shot, which I thought had a little bit of redemption attached to it for him, considering down the end of game 2, he missed a buddy that could have changed that game for the San Antonio Spurs. So, listen, they hit big shots when they had a big shot. I thought Dylan Harper had one of the best 5 for 18 games you'll ever see. And yes, he missed some open shots he normally hits, but I thought his impact on both ends was immeasurable for the San Antonio Spurs last night. I like Mitch Johnson's rotations a little bit better. When he brought Harper in, he didn't go away from him so quickly. We saw a little less Vassell. When Champagne's hitting shots, you use him a lot. When he's not, you don't. He hit shots last night. Listen, give San Antonio all the credit in the world. This was an atmosphere that was a very, very unique atmosphere, not only for the NBA and the game of basketball, but for all of sports. This young group in San Antonio seemed to be annoyed by it, and that seemed to fuel them, where the Knicks kind of taking it all in seemed to get them off to a slow start, down 16-6 beginning of the game. And the Knicks kind of spent plenty of time having to chase that the rest of the game. Even though they were up 7 at the half, the fact that they fell behind in the way they did it at the beginning of the game was a statement San Antonio made that they were able to carry through.
Hey, Geltzy, I like what Mike Brown did after the game. I do. He didn't go nuts. He's going to get fined for criticizing officiating, but I thought he had to do that, right? You have to do that to set up game 4.
When you have a free throw disparity like that, you have to shine a light on it as a head coach. He's probably going to get fined. He'll take the rip to get fined. This is how the NBA finals work. Mike Brown's been around the block for a long time. He's seen a lot of this stuff. And it's going to be a brand new officiating crew in game 4. And Mike Brown's words are resonating throughout the league this morning, whether they're true or right or not right. You just want to plant that in referees' heads as you go into game 4 when you clearly had a free throw disparity. Now, I will say this. I thought in game 2, I thought the officiating did go against the Knicks. I really did. The 2 fouls that Tony Brothers called on Towns were terrible calls. He was the best player on the floor, took him off the floor, and gave San Antonio an opportunity to get back in that game. I didn't think it was uneven last night. I really didn't. With all that said, if I was Mike Brown, I would have done the exact same thing. Shine that light on it as much as possible. That's what smart coaches do at this stage of the NBA Finals.
What do you expect now for Game 4? What do you think?
It's a war. I will tell you this, we're not seeing blowouts. It's been 3 close games. Every single one of these is going to be a close game. I'm interested to see how the Knicks adjust, because I thought San Antonio did some things here regarding how they forced the Knicks to run offense. San Antonio got away in Game 2 from guarding 94 feet. And guarding 94 feet is so important against the Knicks, because the Knicks have unlocked this equal opportunity offense without Jalen Brunson having to bring the ball up the floor every time. They were able to have Hart do it. They were able to have Bridges do it. None of those guys are good enough ball handlers to handle Castle and Harper and Fox on the ball. And the thing is, now in this game, pretty much Brunson was forced to do it every time, and Brunson fell into a trap. I'd love to watch film of this game and be a fly on the wall and watch Jalen Brunson watch himself, because what happened with Brunson is they need him to bring the ball up the floor, but too many times for the Knicks, that defaulted into Brunson just calling his own number and isolating. And that's against this team, they are too good defensively. That's the kind of offense San Antonio wants the Knicks to run. They don't care if Jalen Brunson gets 32 points if it takes 25 shots. They want to force Brunson into inefficiency, and his usage is so high that benefits San Antonio. Where the Knicks really had their offense going over the course of these playoffs is running through things through Towns at the elbow. They did a lot less of that last night. Now, granted, putting Wemby on Hart, letting Hart shoot, and having Wemby play shadow on Towns off the elbow and shadow on Brunson off ISO, that worked very well last night. But I would think they're going to get back to a whole lot of Towns. Towns can't come out of a game like that last night with the way he's playing and have 11 points on 10 shots. That means he didn't see the ball enough. He wasn't on the bench for long periods of time with foul trouble. They're not running things through him like they did earlier in the playoffs, and the results showed it last night, Joe.
He has been so good. Hey, got to ask you the other story down here in South Florida, and that's boy, there's a zillion articles out on Giannis. Giannis likes the Heat. He's preferred trade location. Giannis concerned about the Heat roster after he's traded. If he's down here, they don't have enough to win. This team's not interested. This team might be that team. What are your thoughts now? I think it's been a week and a half since I've talked to you. Feel any differently about Giannis and the Heat?
Not really. Listen, the Heat are going to do everything they can to get him. I think one of the things involving this story that's very important to note here, Joe, where Giannis wants to go is important, but a little bit less important. And I say it in this reason: when it comes to Giannis is gonna have to sign a contract extension, but the Bucks are more concerned about the best package that they can get. Now, again, a team will pony up more if they believe Giannis is willing to sign with them, but the Bucks don't care. Like, Giannis burnt the bridge there at the end of last season with trying to get on the floor when they didn't want him on the floor so he could play with his brothers, and Giannis just torching this organization publicly. For them, yeah, listen, they want to get the most they can get. And again, a team he'll re-sign with will probably give the most they can get. But in terms of what's going to make Giannis happy, the Bucks don't care. Giannis has made this really difficult on them. And as long as they can get as much as they can get, where he wants to be is not a priority. So, but I'll say this, the Heat is a place he does want to be, a place he would extend, which I think would push Miami to pony up more. Now, I'll also say this, the thought of, and I don't buy a lot of the story, he's worried about what the team will look like after they trade for him. I think this is in Pat Riley we trust situation. That, you know what, Giannis gets there, the Heat will figure out how to do a couple of things and add a few players here to make the team better behind him, as long as Bam's not going for him, and I don't think Bam will go for him. So if it's Giannis and Bam and what Miami can piece together, they've had a habit over the years of finding undrafted free agents, second-round guys, developmental project, and turning guys into players. And I think Giannis will lean into that a little bit and have some faith in that. So that's a part of the story that I kind of look at side-eyed, because I think if Giannis wants to come to Miami, and I believe that he does, I think that's all about the fact that he has an immense amount of trust in Pat Riley, Andy Ellisberg, Eric Spoelstra, and everybody else in the organization.
Hey, before I let you go, OKC, hey, man, they made it real clear coming out. Chet Holmgren's not going anywhere. He's our guy, and we miss Jalen Williams because of injury. Everybody's healthy. We like this team. OKC runs it back, same group?
I don't know about the exact same group because I think that, first of all, I know that Sam Presti kind of said we still could exercise Dort's player option. I'd be shocked. He's an extraneous piece they don't need to pay $18 million a year to. So I don't know that he'll be there. The Holmgren thing, listen, unless somebody ponies up something really significant, I would think Chet will be there. But that becomes a calculated risk because if Chet has another playoff like he had here and has that kind of game 7 where it only takes 2 shots in 33 minutes, with that contract, he's going to be devalued. Here's the one thing I'll tell you about Oklahoma City. They're running up against the financial Armageddon when Shai's extension kicks in and with Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren making what they're making. It's going to force them to sacrifice Dort. It's going to force them to sacrifice Hartenstein, and it may force them to sacrifice Caruso. The thing for Presti here, if he wants to move off one of those guys. Now, again, Casey Wallace is going to stay. They're going to re-sign him to an extension in one of those Dort Caruso spots. So he's going to end up staying. But if you're going to have to sacrifice that, the question becomes, are we better off signing Hartenstein at half of what we're going to pay Chet Holmgren, trading Chet Holmgren for some one or two younger guys making less money and shore up a couple of draft picks again further in the future? Because keep the one thing in mind. If they're slated to be a second apron team right now, they're a second apron team next year. Their 2032 pick's going to get locked. And that's going to be a problem for them. I don't think Sam Presti wants to lose that flexibility. So as much as he said what he said last night, I think that's about leverage more than anything else here. And I think Presti's got to look into a whole lot of different possibilities because forget about financial. Even if you have an ownership group that says we'll pay the taxes on the second apron, the roster restrictions are not something Presti's going to want to be up against.
Geltzeiler, man, great stuff, brother. Really appreciate it. I know you haven't had a lot of sleep, so thank you so much for getting up with us. I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Always, always. My guy, Joe. We'll do it again soon, pal.
All right.
You take care.
All right. You have a good day. Brian Geltzeiler, Sirius XM NBA Radio. We